El rugido de los aficionados, el ritmo de las porras, la intensidad en la cancha. Esto es más que solo un partido de fútbol. Con DraftKings Sportsbook, esta es tu oportunidad de convertir cada jugada en una gran ganancia. Descarga la app de DraftKings Sportsbook y usa el código HEART. Ese es el código HEART para que los nuevos usuarios reciban $200 en bonus bets al instante cuando apuestes solo $5. En asociación con DraftKings, la corona es tuya. ¿Problemas con el juego? Llama al 1-800-GAMBLER. En Nueva York, llama al 877-8-HOPE-NY o envía un mensaje de texto con la palabra HOPE-NY al 467-369. En Connecticut, hay ayuda disponible para problemas con el juego. Llama al 888-789-7777 o visita ccpg.org. Juega responsablemente. En nombre de Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Debe ser mayor de 21 años. La elegibilidad varía según la jurisdicción. No válido en Ontario. Pueden aplicarse cargos en Illinois. Las apuestas de bonos son de un solo uso. La apuesta no se incluye en las ganancias y caducan después de ser otorgadas. La oferta finaliza el 29 de septiembre 2025 a las 11:59 p.m. hora del este. Los términos en DraftKings.com/sportsbook/promos.
You need to just watch Kittens.
Eavesdroppin.
Oh, Michelle.
There you are. Hi, Geordie. Hi.
Here I am and there you are.
And there they are. They being you.
There they are.
Eavesdroppers.
They, them.
They, them.
He, him, her, they, them.
What is the correct pronoun for a podcast? It, them, they?
Yeah, it.
It.
It is a podcast.
Could we give it a gender? Would we want? We don't need a
We
gender.
could. You can do anything these days.
Yes, that's true.
Doesn't need to have a gender.
No.
It's pansexual.
I identify as an eavesdropper. How about that?
I identify as an eavesdroppee.
I'm an ED.
I'm the one that people listen to. And this is the only place where people listen to me. Thank God. I hope you're listening to me. Because
Yes.
at home, nobody listens to me. Even sometimes at work, I had to say to someone, did you hear what I just said? It was a man, admittedly.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're just too busy looking at my pretty face and my titties.
Oh, my God. That's very, very sexualized. What's going on
I know.
here?
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just blue sky thinking here, Michelle.
Well, of course, they're just looking at nice face. Shame about the
Tits?
no. But I have the opposite problem. I speak, and what gets heard are things that I haven't said.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I have said I did not say that. Yes, you did. No, I did not.
How do you know that you didn't? Gaslighting.
No, it's projection. It's not gaslighting. It's projection.
No, I was gaslighting you.
Oh, you
just
bitch.
now. Did you not notice?
Well, I just thought you were playing devil's advocate. I didn't realise
No,
you were
no.
gaslighting me.
I was actually gaslighting you, yeah. But I am concerned that maybe you are saying things that you don't realise you're saying. Because maybe, in amongst all the words, you've said something that you thought.
So you're saying...
You think that person's a dick and you've said, God, you're such a dick. But listen, can you just put the garbage out for me?
It's not even that. There was an incident today. I mean, there's such mundane things. But I said, I didn't say that. Yes, you did.
Oh, my God.
It drives me mad.
It's your relationship, isn't it? It's your partner.
I'm not saying.
And basically, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say it sounds like somebody that you're in an intimate relationship with and have been for quite some time, because in a way they kind of tune you out. They tune you out. They think they know what you're going to be saying and they fill in the gaps.
They don't hear the words.
Yeah.
They just hear the gaps.
It's a deadly cocktail. Hi, I'm Geordie. This is the Eavesdroppin podcast. It's comedy. It's weekly. Who are you?
I'm Michelle. And you are an eavesdropper because you're listening to us on Eavesdroppin.
Thank God you're listening because no one else is.
I know, because as I was trying to say earlier, you're an eavesdropper in ED and it's not erectile dysfunction. It's eavesdropping.
Exactly.
That's the level here. Everything you've just
It's the opposite to erectile dysfunction. It's drop it like it's hot, babe.
It is.
Squat down.
Oh, God.
Do a squat for me. Do 5. Stand up. Shake that tush.
I'm speechless.
It's a bit of somatic healing. We're shaking out the nerves.
Shaking that ass.
We're shaking them out.
Shaking that ass.
Shaking that ass, exactly. Are you glad you joined us? Because it's all gone a little bit awry, hasn't it?
It's because we've had those summer specials, which were absolutely fantastic to hear back because, my goodness, we were a little bit bawdier, a bit raunchier, a little bit more...
We were a bit shoutier.
Loose.
And apparently... a listener has written in and said that my King Charles, back then it was Prince Charles, my King Charles impression is spot on. She didn't say the words, she just gave me an emoji. Thank you, Charlene.
Wow. Oh, my God. It's
Camilla.
It's quite creepy.
You know, I feel bad doing it now because I have a horrible theory. I hope I don't get hung, drawn and quartered for this. Or what's the word when you...
You're a traitor.
Yeah. I feel like he might be not well because we haven't seen him at all for a really long time.
Right.
He's gone quiet.
Well, he might just be thinking, fuck this shit. I've given my whole life to being
Waiting.
Prince Charles. I'm finally king. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck yous all. Maybe that's what he's thinking.
I'm having a holiday.
I'm having a break. My sons have done it, or one of them anyway. My son's done it. Why can't I do it? Except he's doing
Exactly.
it in a less formalised way. He's just pissed off.
A less public way.
Yes, maybe. Or maybe he's trying to reconnect with his love child.
Perhaps. Simon Durante Day.
Yes.
Thanks for that comment. You know what? Listening to that, you know, I'm quite involved currently in a lot of the adoption focus groups and groups for trying to get an apology from the UK government. Listening to that story, I really felt for that man second time round, knowing what I know now. I didn't know so much then when you first told it to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd like to know that he's okay. Simon Durante Day.
Well, I don't think that he is. If you saw the interview that I had referenced and I made a bit of fun of because it was wild. I mean, it just went off the rails spectacularly.
You've also got the added concoction of having now disgraced This Morning presenter Phil, what's his guts?
No.
What's his name? I forgot.
Schofield.
Philip Schofield on there as well. God, it dated, didn't it, Michelle? It aged.
Very fast. Very fast.
But here we are. We're back again. We're back in the room.
We are.
It's current day. It's present day.
It is present day. And I feel like because we just had that summer mashup where we were doing all sorts of other things, you know, including you being mother of the groom.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you know, there's been all sorts of things in between. So we've had a summer mashup. Now we're back together and it just feels like old times, but we're just getting back in the group.
Yeah.
But two things I need to say. First of all, I have a shout out.
Oh.
Now, I didn't even know that this person was...
Existed.
Oh.
You're that wrapped up in your own little world. You didn't even know that they were living and breathing.
I did not know that they were an eavesdropper. So you know that Jen is a big eavesdropper.
Jen, your mother?
Jen, my mother. She posts eavesdropping on her Facebook. And
does she?
And they all listen in, all those oldies.
Can they please give us a like and a share on all the social medias, please, and on wherever they get their podcast?
All of those
please?
things. Yes, please.
Could all of you do that, please?
We need people to discover us, and the more that you give us 5-star reviews and follows and likes, it really all helps. But this particular shout out goes to none other than Tina Gibbs, who I don't know if eavesdroppers remember, but I had spoken...
Is she the one with the cane furniture that your mum bought on eBay?
No, that's not my mum. Did your mum buy cane furniture?
No,
on
yours
eBay?
did. We talked about it recently. Mother from another brother, and she bought us some eBay furniture or some cane furniture, it turned out to be much smaller than she thought.
It wasn't cane furniture. It was an ironing board.
Oh, it was an ironing board.
It
That's
was an
right. It was
ironing
me
board.
that bought the cane furniture.
No, that's Jean. G'day, Jean. No, this is Tina. I know her as my mother's friend from when I was a child. And she was this absolutely gorgeous, glamorous British woman who somehow ended up in Australia in the 80s. She was tall and gorgeous. She had the best wardrobe. And one day she gave my sister and I these enormous cream platform shoes. We were absolutely in love with these shoes.
Wow.
And I was so in love with them that I wore them to primary school for a whole day. I got in trouble. I didn't care. I just wanted to wear these oversized, huge platform shoes. And in fact, I do have a picture of those shoes.
I need it.
Somewhere when I went to a 70s party and it's me in an all-in-one and those shoes.
Fab. Put that up.
Tina Gibbs, honestly, how wonderful that you're an eavesdropper. It's been
Welcome,
so many
Tina.
years. Welcome. And it's absolutely lovely that you
Ms.
reconnected
Gibbs.
with Mum, that you
Yes.
listened. Mum saw her quite by accident in the Kayleen shopping mall. And
Yes.
she said, oh, yes, I'm an eavesdropper. I never miss.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Welcome,
So,
Tina.
Welcome, Tina. You've been hiding in the shadows, but no longer.
She's out and proud.
She's out
Out and proud with her massive
Platforms.
Platties.
Platties.
I love it. Well done. Oh my gosh. Bringing people together. That's what we're doing, Michelle. We're bringing people together.
Yeah, so shout out to you.
Shout out. Shout out.
You're getting a shout out.
I've got a bit of sadness on the other side of that joyous news. We should have done this the other way round. It's a bit late because this goes out a couple of weeks after the fact. But one of my favourite actors and favourite faces to look at has finally passed away, aged 87. It's the beautiful Terence Stamp.
No, did he die?
He died.
Oh my goodness.
He was old.
He was, and a recluse. You know, he did not give an interview for like 30 years or something.
No, that's not true.
Really?
Yeah, he's been out. He's been on TV and all sorts.
Oh.
What makes you think this?
Many years ago, we tried to get him and he was like, no, I don't do that. But maybe
It's probably just women's mags.
Maybe. And he was like, no, I don't do interviews. And
no, he does when he's promoting a TV show or something. He'll do that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, when he's contracted to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
He was always very beautiful and he was famous for being together with Julie Christie after maybe around the same time as they did Far From the Madding Crowd. And he was flatmates and bezies for a little while with Michael Caine. So he's from that whole old school British icon of film school era. I always felt that he was much more handsome as an older silverhead fox. I read his biography.
Oh, really?
His autobiography, in fact.
He was
Two-parter.
in that film with...
Don't say Superman. That's the only thing they're talking about in all of his obituaries.
No, I was going to say that really terrifying Nazi drama with Charlotte Rampling.
Oh.
For me, Charlotte Rampling, there is no woman more beautiful.
Yeah, she's stunning.
For all times,
Still.
Is the most beautiful woman in the world, before and after. Stunning. And she was in this drama.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. There's a famous picture of her with one boobie out in a Nazi uniform.
And she's anorexic in it. I mean, you know, she was in a concentration camp.
He was also in The Collector. Is it called The Collector? The Butterfly The Butterfly Collector. That's also quite psychologically disturbing.
Oh, guess what? It was Dirk Bogarde, not Terence Stamp.
I thought so.
I thought it was Terence Stamp, and it was called The Night Porter.
The Night Porter, that's right, yes.
And I got it completely wrong. How did I mix up Dirk Bogarde with Terence Stamp? Well, I did.
I don't know, because one is quite camp.
Yes, that is true. They call this...
And the other is quite sexy.
Nazi porn or daring art house eroticism.
Yep.
Well, you decide, eavesdroppers. You let us know.
You decide and then go and watch The Collector, which is not called The Butterfly Collector. It's called The Collector.
We're getting it all wrong here.
And we're getting it all wrong.
At least you've got the right actor. I was thinking Dirk Bogarde.
Sorry about that.
Before we get on to this, and as we're talking about films, I just want to say I have a good telly-rec. I discovered it myself. It's not brand new.
You discovered it yourself.
I did.
Well done.
It wasn't a wreck.
Well done for turning on a television and flicking around.
I don't often do it. I don't often have a flick, but I did on this occasion, and I watched The Veil. It has got that girl who... Oh, what's her name? Elizabeth, whatever her face is. Yes, Elizabeth Moss. How did you know?
It's the only one I know.
She's fabulous. I really enjoyed it.
I just saw a film with her in as well. I watched a film too.
Oh.
But you carry on.
This one, she plays an undercover spy. It's very good. I enjoyed it. Binged, watched it when I was unwell.
That's a series, is it?
Yes, 6 parts. You can breeze through it. They're about 40 minutes an episode.
Okay.
Zip,
well,
zip, zip.
I watched a Jordan Peele film because you know we love Jordan Peele. Nope. Favourite film.
Yes, I didn't know he had a new one.
It's not new. It was the one between Get Out and Nope, and it's called Us. And I spent most of the time behind the kitchen counter. Then I had to go run upstairs, get my earplugs and my eye mask to watch the rest of it. I was that scared.
Terrifying.
Everyone else wasn't. No one else was as scared as me, just me. I must be on edge.
I think you're a bit of a scaredy cat these days. I think you're not able to stomach these
It's not
things
stomaching.
Perhaps once you could.
It's the fright of it. The sounds, I'm very susceptible to loud, sudden sounds.
All right. Oh, my goodness. I don't think those films are for you.
But I want to see them.
You need to just watch Kittens.
I want to know what happens in things like long legs and weapons, but I don't want to have to watch it. Shall I just go on Wikipedia?
Spoilers, yes. That's all you need.
Speaking of spoilers and glancing and scrolling, we weren't speaking of scrolling, but I'm going to talk about scrolling. I scrolled and I found something on an Instagram account of an Irish chat show, The Gay Byrne Show. It was famous. It was on for years and years and years. He was like the Terry Wogan of Ireland, right?
All right.
Gay Byrne. And this one's from 1983. There's a link attached I'm going to give you, Michelle.
Okay.
I just needed to know more. And what I found funny listening to these guys chatting to Gay Byrne about their thing was all the coughing and sputtering and noises from the audience. It's constant.
Oh, my God.
So when you watch it, guys, if you do, click on the link that's provided in for you patrons, you'll find that it's very noisy in the 80s in an Irish television show studio.
They're all hoiking and burping and...
There's all of that. It's not edited out. They've got the mics in the wrong place. But they were talking about somebody called Bridget Cleary, who was a young Irish woman born in 1869 in County Tipperary. And she was unusual for the time. She kept her own hens. She sold eggs. Basically, she's a little business woman. She had her own Singer sewing machine, which was cutting-edge technology in the 1890s.
Well, she sold all those eggs and she could buy the...
I know.
Buy that foot-pedal Singer.
Yeah, and then she's pumping out fashions or whatever, sacks, whatever she was selling at the time. Plus, so she was making dresses and she was a hat maker as well, a milliner, a professional woman in a rural world where women were expected to stay home. She was married to a man called Michael Cleary, but she had her own status as well, not just Mrs. Michael Cleary. She was Bridget. Everyone knew her. But as such, the community were really unsettled about her ways and whispered all sorts of things about her behind her back.
Jealous.
The Clearys lived in a cottage built on the site of a supposed fairy fort, which isn't unusual in Ireland because the Irish have always had an affinity with and a respect for fairies, the little people, fairy folk. And I don't know if you believe or care about those things, Michelle. I think you don't give a shit about fairies. But it's kind of like the Icelandic people who don't throw stones still to this day for fear of hitting a fairy or an invisible person.
Being.
That's what they believe. Yeah, they've grown up with that belief. It's embedded, it's imbued in the folklore. So the Irish still, in this time of 1800s, still respecting fairy traditions, and they would still leave out offerings or not cut a white thorn tree, which is known as a fairy tree, and respecting the land which belongs to the She, which is the name for fairy folk, until last century. And who knows, perhaps some people still do it today. So this house was built on fairy fort land, and it was steeped in Irish folklore. And it was said to be a place where the veil between the worlds was thin. And people still believe that fairies could still dance about and come and take your baby or take a person even and put a fairy in its place, a changeling. People believed that.
When you say the veil between the two worlds was thin, I kind of get a shiver.
Ooh!
Yeah, really, because it's a very visual way of describing something that you're on the edge of the darkness. I like it.
Or the light. But in March 1895, poor Bridget, she got sick. Most likely it was bronchitis. The doctor rode on over, and even a priest came to give her last rites. But in Michael's mind, her husband, medicine wasn't going to fix Bridget because he believed Bridget wasn't his wife at all.
Oh.
But she was a fairy changeling.
Oh.
Yeah. He thought that her sickness was her being swapped out, basically.
Oh, shit. So, oh my God, did he murder her? Oh, fuck.
Well, over the next few days, family and friends were all joining in, offering to cure Bridget with all these strange things like throwing wee on her and chanting and dragging her in front of the fire to burn out the fairy. And then on March 15th, things got really bad when Michael came out with it and flat out accused Bridget of being a changeling. But she wasn't having it. She clapped back and took the piss out of him, which sent him into a frenzy. He forced her to the floor, threatened her with burning wood, which caught her nightie caught on fire, and then he poured lamp oil over her, and her dad was in on it as well. And this was in front of other people who were there to help cure her. He basically burned his wife alive.
Oh my God.
But he insisted, I know it's disgusting, he insisted he hadn't killed her because she was already gone and that the fairies had taken the real Bridget.
Ugh.
Bridget's body was found a week later in a shallow grave, and when police asked him about it, he told them he was waiting at the fairy fort for his real wife to ride back on a white horse.
Right.
But of course, that wasn't enough.
Mental health issues, this dude. He should be the one in a shallow grave.
Well, he went to court. 9 people were charged, neighbours, friends, even Bridget's own dad, as I said, who'd been swept up in the fairy madness. However, Michael was convicted not of murder. He got manslaughter instead and served just 15 years before moving to Liverpool and then Canada to live out the rest of his life as a free man.
Oh, right. Poor old Bridget, though.
Yeah. Bridget was 26 years old, Michelle.
And amazing. She was amazing.
She's known as the last witch burned in Ireland, but she wasn't a fish. She wasn't a fish, nor was she a witch. She wasn't a fish, a witch, or a fucking fairy.
Oh, my God.
She was just a modern, independent woman whose life was stolen by superstition, fear, and control.
That sucks.
Absolutely horrifying. And you know what? There's still an eerie children's rhyme that does the rounds in Ireland that goes, "Are you a witch, or are you a fairy, or are you the wife of Michael Cleary?"
Oh, to this day.
Isn't that shocking?
Wow. I think he didn't know what to do with this strong, independent, entrepreneurial
no one did.
woman.
Everyone was against her.
Yeah, because she was just ahead of her time.
Doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And it cost her life in a horrific way.
Yeah.
But sticking with the timeline of 19th century, we move from Ireland to the USA, Tennessee to be exact, and something called the Bell Witch. Yes, my theme this week is witches.
Mm-hmm.
Bitches. It's witches, bitches.
I didn't get the memo because I ain't got no witches, bitches in my...
Doesn't matter.
In my story.
It's just my theme. So between 1817 and 1821 in Robertson County, Tennessee, if anyone knows the area, I personally don't, Farmer John Bell and his family, along with most of their community, found themselves under siege by a mostly invisible presence that could speak in a human voice, manipulate, and move things in the real world, and even shapeshift. All the stuff. It was doing all that shit and more.
Sounds like a poltergeist.
Well, it's not a witch. There's a clue. These things are witches, but not. According to witnesses, this spook seemed to be clairvoyant and had the unusual ability to travel long distances in an instant or be in more than one place at once, so the legend goes. We've done stories like this before where somehow you're hearing the ghost or the person in one country when they're actually in another country and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned before, John Bell was a farmer and his family lived all together in this place in Robertson, Tennessee. They first experienced the unusual happenings in 1817 when he spotted a bizarre creature in the fields. It was said to have a body like a dog's but with the head of a rabbit.
What?
Kind of weird.
Yeah,
I know.
okay.
So he took a shot at this abomination, but it vanished before his eyes.
Right.
I don't think he was chewing on the wacky backy either. Not long after that, his son Drew came across an enormous bird, perched on a fence, so much bigger than anything he'd ever seen. And then he watched as it flew off with this eerie, majestic flapping style. Again, something he's never seen before. Then Betsy Bell, who's the youngest daughter of the Bell family, reported seeing a girl in a green dress swinging silently from the branch of an oak tree. But then she wasn't there anymore.
Okay.
Then there was a witness who claimed they saw a black hound following the Bell's family slave. Because they had a slave, Michelle. He was called Dean. Poor Dean. I know. It said this demon dog followed Dean all the way home, and Dean himself said that on nights where he walked to visit his wife, more heartbreaking news, there was a big black dog following him in the dark.
Okay. So something is going on. Is there a
Something's
gas
happening.
leak in that house? Are they all...
Good thinking, Michelle. Possibly. Are we in the gas era, 1800s?
Well, do you remember there was a story you did about where they all ate the overripe grain,
The flour.
in the flour or whatever it was.
That's right, the rye.
The rye.
Ergot poisoning.
Good memory.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
thank you. But soon these disturbances moved inside the Bells' home. They heard all the usual knocks echoing along the walls and doors as we know about, because we talk about this shit all the time. And the sound of the wooden bed frames being chewed on, or phantom dogs fighting in the night, or heavy chains dragging across the floor.
What the hell?
Bed sheets pulled off sleeping children, hair pulled, deep scratches appearing on kids' skin. The lot.
Very Linda Blair.
Very much so. Betsy bore the brunt of all the violence. She was slapped, pinched, and even felt sharp stabs from invisible pins. There's an author, I'm going to segue off for a second. There's an author named Martin V. Ingram who wrote a book called An Authenticated History of the Bell Witch. It was published in 1894, and this book is where most of the info comes from, but it's a long time after the events, right?
Okay.
In the book it says, eventually the spirit introduced itself to the family as Old Kate Bat's Witch.
What?
Full name.
Old Kate's Batch Wit. Bat.
Old Kate, you can't really say it fast. Old Kate Bat's Witch.
Not a real name.
Old Kate Bat's Witch. From then on, it happily answered to the name of Kate, though, so she's got herself a name. It's got its name. Most of the strange events were, like I said, focused on young Betsy and her father as well, John Bell. Kate favoured these two for some reason, and around this time, John Bell began suffering strange bouts of facial paralysis. This made me think of Bell's palsy. And I did look it up, but actually that was discovered by Sir Charles Bell, a Scottish anatomist and surgeon who lived and died throughout this era, but he died in 1842. But nothing to do with John Bell the farmer and his facial paralysis. Okay. Must be a very popular name.
I don't say a popular affliction.
Could have been. The Bells were desperate, though, so they turned to a family friend named James Johnson for help. One night, James stayed over at the Bells, and sure enough, he was woken in the night by the same strange disturbances. The next morning, he told John Bell, this is a spirit, just like in the Bible. I don't know what that means exactly. Just like the spirits in the Bible, I suppose.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what he meant.
Cheers to the resurrection. Here comes Christ. Like what? I'm not sure.
Spirits.
The Holy Spirit?
Maybe.
The Holy Ghost?
Holy Ghost. I'm sure they didn't think it was Jesus, though. Soon, word of the haunting spread throughout the community, and people began travelling from far and wide just to witness the Bell Witch for themselves, as is usually the case. Pretty soon, Kate was speaking out loud.
So they could hear Kate. What was Kate saying?
When they asked, who are you and what do you want? It would reply weakly, I am a spirit. I was once very happy, but I've been disturbed. I'm sure that wasn't her accent because she's from Tennessee, isn't she?
I've been disturbed.
I am a spirit. I was once very happy. I'm not going to do it because I think that's offensive. Sorry, guys. The spirit gave all sorts of reasons for its presence. It said it was the disturbance of a Native American burial mound, and that's what caused the unrest. Or it would send young Drew Bell and his friends off on a wild goose chase, searching for buried treasure. I mean, Kate was having the time of her life, or time of her death, if you like. It even managed to recite, word for word, 2 sermons that had been given 13 miles apart at the same time.
What?
So there's one sermon going on in church and there's another sermon going on in church. And as you know, each sermon would be different because it's written by the vicar, the pastor, whoever.
Yeah, of course.
For that day. And Kate managed to recite both these sermons out loud.
Okay, so Kate...
She loved a bit of Bible verse.
She loved it. She's God-fearing spirit.
She's God-fearing. She loved also heated religious arguments, but also had a taste for mischief, gossiping about neighbours and even claiming to flit off to other homes for a visit. She'd come back with info.
Oh, gossip. She is a gossip.
She's a gossip.
Kate the gossip.
Yes, absolutely. She also passed a few tests. James Johnston, who you remember, felt it was very much a spirit, much like the Bible. His son John asked the spirit what his Dutch, let's just call her grandmother, used to say when she caught her slaves, again, misbehaving, something only the family would know. She's Dutch, right? The witch nailed it, even answering in a Dutch accent, which I don't think I can do. She would say, hut tut, what has happened now?
Oh.
Hut tut.
Hut tut.
Hut tut. What has happened now?
Oh, God.
That's what grandmother would say. It was right as well. Tick. Won that prize. There's an account of an Englishman who dropped by to investigate, and when he talked about his family in England, the spirit began mimicking his parents' voices perfectly. Better at accents than me, Kate. Well done. Later that night, she even woke him with the sound of his parents worrying about him. So she almost kind of like... channeled the parents back to him, because they, back in England, had heard his voice.
Right.
And they got worried. This is being in 2 places at once.
This is what they talk about when people astral travel. Your body is here, but your spirit is elsewhere. You're having a view onto all different worlds and conversations all at once. So, I don't know. It's disconnected somehow.
This English chap was totally freaked out. He just took off the next morning. He'd had it. He was like, no, thank you. And he eventually wrote to the Bells admitting the witch had somehow visited his family, and he apologized for doubting them.
Wow.
People are believing this.
Yes.
The spirit, however, had a soft spot. Even though she despised John Bell, she had a soft spot for John Bell's wife, Lucy, calling her the most perfect woman to walk the earth.
Oh, that's very nice.
It would bring her gifts of fresh fruit and sang hymns to her.
Oh, my God.
I know. How nice having your own ghosty-woasty to sing songs for you.
And bring you fruit.
The witch also showed respect to another son, though, John Bell Jr. But for John Bell, it was another story altogether, Michelle. Poor John would hear the witch's voice taunt him by calling him Old Jack, and she announced her intention to kill him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she said it.
Maybe he wasn't particularly nice. I don't know. He's
Who
got
knows?
slaves, for God's sake.
Yeah, well, I think that was the thing. It was like having a 60-inch TV back then. It's like the thing you do.
Everyone has it.
But the witch was relentlessly going after old John Sr. until John Bell was allegedly poisoned by the witch and died.
No, okay.
He done died.
He did die.
He done did die. But even in death, there was no peace for John Bell because during his funeral, the spirit could be heard breaking into raucous drinking songs, which drowned out the mourner's grief.
She really hated him.
Yeah.
My God. Roll out the barrel. Who knows?
Then in 1821, Betsy got engaged to a local man named Joshua Gardner. Kate lost her shit.
In a bad way?
She did not like it.
Oh.
She relentlessly harassed her until Betsy broke off the engagement to Joshua. And shortly after that, the witch announced it was leaving, but promised to return in 7 years. And so it did.
Oh.
In 1828, she visited Betsy and her sons. And again, the same disturbances occurred, but this time the family refused to acknowledge it. So eventually, the witch basically disappeared bit by bit. I'm melting.
Yeah, because she was ignored and she didn't feel part of the family anymore. I wonder where she
It's
went.
a bit like being a middle-aged woman,
Oh, invisible.
right?
Bit invisible. Wonder where she went for those 7 years.
Wow.
Harassing some other poor family.
People have their ideas about it, but maybe she just disappeared back into the ether. The witch story, though, is pretty famous, and it's weird that I'd never heard it before.
Me either.
And it's also hard to tell if it's just folklore or fact.
Yeah.
But legend has it that future President General Andrew Jackson even rode up to check it out. And accounts of his visit say his wagon got stuck and the spirit taunted him. And one of Jackson's men got yanked out of the cottage by his nose.
Oh, my God. Ouch.
And Jackson allegedly said he'd rather face the British than another night with the witch. But this kept the story alive through retellings over the subsequent years. In the book, The Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, which was said to have used first-hand testimonies and family notes, people say, or skeptics at least, say that it doesn't really tally, especially as the book was published 75 years after the hauntings, and many of the people featured in it were long dead.
Right. But maybe diaries were found, maybe notebooks were
That's
found.
what they say. They say that, yeah.
I think that's still credible. I think it's
And the
okay.
retelling,
Yes.
and the kind of the folklore of it. There was also something else called the Bell Witch Cave in Adams, Tennessee, which is right near where the old Bell Farm used to be. It's about 150 meters long, this cave, privately owned now, which means that you can take a tour in the summer or at Halloween. Ka-ching.
Yep.
It's said that when the witch finally left the Bell family alone, Michelle, answer to your question, she didn't vanish completely, but slinked off to this cave.
Right.
But is that just what they say to get the tourists in?
I think so, because why would you go from a nice, cozy home where you can talk
Singing songs
all the members of the family
Yes,
to some
reading
dingy
hymns.
cave? I don't buy that.
Well, you can't hassle anyone.
No.
But there is a story about the cave that recounts young Betsy Bell and some of her friends who went to explore it. And one kid wriggled into a hole and got himself completely stuck. And then they heard an invisible voice shouting, "I'll get him out!" And the kid felt his hands and feet get grabbed and yanked free.
Right.
And none of the kids said that they had done it. But after the rescue, the spirit even gave them a stern talking to about the dangers of cave exploring.
Right.
Which is weird. I'm just not sure how true it is. But according to science writer Brian Dunning, none of this cave stuff was ever part of the original Bell Witch story. The spooky cave adventures were just written down as a bit of folklore added after the fact, probably to get those tourists in, like I said.
Exactly. They just were like, shit, we need to get some cash in. Quick, have the witch be in the caves, because why not?
But the Bell Witch has actually inspired many films, such as An American Haunting, Blair Witch Project, and more.
Okay.
So was the Bell Witch mass hysteria, sensational journalism, or just storytelling gone rogue over time? There are no newspapers relating back to it.
Okay.
Like this terrifying witch. You'd think that if she was tormenting a whole neighborhood, you'd have a few column inches, and especially as she murdered someone.
So, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes, I don't know. Because it's a different era. Were people writing this stuff down? Were they relying on oral history? I don't know. But I think it's a romp.
Yeah.
And it's good entertainment.
It's a bit of a romp.
Yes.
Absolutely. And if you are intrigued and you want to know more, there's a show on Apple TV called Cursed, The Bell Witch, which is a kind of a version of this tale.
Right. Okay.
And I'm sure there are plenty others
I'm sure
out there as well based on this silly thing.
Oh, well, thanks for that. I'd never heard about it.
Well, that's all right. Witchy poo.
Witchy poo poo. Did you steal my scrunchie?
Well, have a look in your hair bag.
Oh, sorry, pet. What was that?
El rugido de los aficionados, el ritmo de las porras, la intensidad en la cancha. Esto es más que solo un partido de fútbol. Con DraftKings Sportsbook, esta es tu oportunidad de convertir cada jugada en una gran ganancia. Descarga la app de DraftKings Sportsbook y usa el código HEART. Ese es el código HEART para que los nuevos usuarios reciban $200 en bonus bets al instante cuando apuestes solo $5. En asociación con DraftKings, la corona es tuya. ¿Problemas con el juego? Llama al 1-800-GAMBLER. En Nueva York, llama al 877-8-HOPE-NY o envía un mensaje de texto con la palabra HOPE-NY al 467-369. En Connecticut, hay ayuda disponible para problemas con el juego. Llama al 888-789-7777 o visita ccpg.org. Juega responsablemente. En nombre de Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Debe ser mayor de 21 años. La elegibilidad varía según la jurisdicción. No válido en Ontario. Pueden aplicarse cargos en Illinois. Las apuestas de bonos son de un solo uso. La apuesta no se incluye en las ganancias y caducan después de ser otorgadas. La oferta finaliza el 29 de septiembre 2025 a las 11:59 p.m. hora del este. Los términos en DraftKings.com/sportsbook/promos.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that story. I've got nothing to do with witches. I've got a UFO incident, Geordie.
Wonderful.
And it happened in the 90s, late 1991, in fact. It's an Australian UFO incident. And
Oh, I love it.
honestly, I don't know how these things bypass me because I feel like I've done a lot of digging, and how do I miss things like this?
Well, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking maybe you've forgotten that you've told me this before.
Oh, my God, don't say that. It's quite possible.
More gaslighting.
Oh, you bitch. Does Annie Farinaccio ring any bells?
No.
Good. So I haven't told this story before. So we're going back to late 1991. And Annie Farinaccio, she was living it up at a farewell party on the Harold Holt Naval Communications Station just outside Exmouth in Western Australia.
Oh.
Now, Exmouth is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's on a tiny peninsula, and it's absolutely how you imagine the outback would be. I saw pictures. It is nothing but a few scrubby, low-growing gum trees, red dust, desert scrub. And the US had been running the Harold Holt base for decades.
I've got a question.
Yes.
We've heard about the Harold Holt base before.
Okay. Are you gaslighting me again?
No. But I just want to double check because I feel like it's where... Do you remember we spoke about the photo of the little girl in England with the spaceman walking past the back of her?
Right.
And at the same time... At an airbase, they were testing, an American airbase in Australia was testing some supersonic aircraft, and they saw the same thing.
Same base, different story.
I think it's the Harold Holt, but I'm not sure.
Could be. All right, well, I will continue because it's a crazy story. So, like I said, the US had been running the Harold Holt base for quite some time, and they were using it as part of their submarine communications network.
Right.
But now the Americans were pulling out, and they were officially handing it back to the Australians. What that actually meant was the Americans weren't actually leaving. They were still hanging around a bit, but technically they were not in charge. The Australians were back in charge, but they still had a presence there. So Annie's at this party with a bunch of American servicemen who were all about to fly home. And like any good farewell party, they carried on till late. And by the time she looked at the clock, it was 2:30 in the morning. And she thought, fuck, I've got no way to get back into Exmouth because she didn't live on the base. And apparently it's a 5-kilometre drive down a pitch black road that runs along the coast.
Hate those roads.
Yeah, you're not walking in that at 2:30 in the morning. But lucky for her, 2 Australian Federal Protective Service police officers that she knew, Kevin and Alan, said, jump in with us, we'll give you a lift. They were the guys who did the security runs at the base. And, you know, they were cruising around in this 4-wheel drive Toyota. So she hopped in the middle seat between them and she was really happy for the lift. Except a few minutes into the ride home, Kevin looks up through the windshield and says to Alan, "It's back. Grab the camera."
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's back?
It's back. And Alan immediately started like snapping photos through the glass, shooting up at something that Annie couldn't see yet.
That's terrifying.
And when Annie asked what they were photographing, Kevin said, "Look up." And so she did. And that's when she saw this long diamond-shaped craft hovering maybe 100 feet above them.
Oh, God.
It was dark grey in colour, but she said it was not as dark as the night sky. And this thing had the rear end of it chopped off. And there were rows of lights running towards the tip of the craft. And to quote Annie, she said to the officers, "What the fuck is that?"
Which, that's
Good
what
on
you'd
you,
say.
Annie.
Yeah.
I know.
Fair.
Yeah. And neither officer had a clue. But what they did say was that it was not their first time seeing this. And apparently the same thing had followed them the night before. But that's when the craft made its move. So 1 second it was floating above the right-hand side of the car. Then the next second it had shot straight up and dropped down on the left in a way that made Annie's eyes struggle to even track it. It was so fast. Wow. And she just thought, no plane and no helicopter moves like that. And at this point, she's kind of freaking out and Kevin is driving faster and Alan's there just taking loads of pics. Then the craft starts tailing them. Oh, no. Literally chasing their car down the road for about 1 kilometre. And then it suddenly shoots upward again and drops into the scrubland a few hundred metres off the road. And it's just sitting there with this light glowing from underneath. And Kevin wanted to stop and get photos of it on the ground. But Annie was like, "No fucking way. Take me home now." She was freaking out. Yeah. So eventually Kevin and Alan said, okay. And they sped into town and dropped her off at the edge of town, not even at her house. And then they turned back and went back towards this craft. Then Annie bolted across town to her house. She locked every door and just sat there freaking out. Because what she saw was a craft that had moved so fast her eyes literally couldn't keep up.
Fucking hell.
I know. And it was beyond anything she'd ever seen before. So the next day, Officer Allen took his film to the base photo lab to get developed. Yeah. The pictures apparently showed exactly what all three of them had seen. This diamond-shaped structured craft hovering just above the ground.
And have you seen these pictures?
I haven't seen the pictures. I've seen a picture of Annie drawing it.
Okay.
So I'll put that on the Patreon, people. Of course, the dudes, they were like, "Fuck, man, look at this." They were showing everyone on the base the pictures that they took, which, yes, turned out to be a very bad idea. Yeah. Because the next thing they know, they are hauled into custody. US military officials confiscate Alan's camera, all the prints, all the negatives.
Oh, God.
And they searched the photo machine. They searched everything, which shows that, obviously, like I said before, supposedly the base had been handed back to the Australians, but the US was still in charge.
Sure.
Then, a couple of days later, Annie herself gets a visit from these 2 American military police. They show up at her elderly mother's house just outside of Exmouth asking for her. And they said, just go to Annie's workplace. And she was apparently a counsellor at a regional prison at the time. So they went to the prison, escorted her out.
No way.
Yeah. And in the moment, Annie thought, fuck, I'm in trouble for boozing on at the base till 2:30 the other night. She had no clue they were there to ask about this UFO. Yeah. But they drove her straight into the classified part of the Harold E Holt base. Oh, no. And once she was inside, they led her into a room where Kevin and Alan were already sitting. They were exhausted and they were broken from hours of questioning. And facing all of them were these Americans that she didn't recognize from the base, and they were in uniform except 3 or 4 of them, Geordie, were in suits.
No. Black ones.
Could they have been black suits? I don't know. But she did know one face, and that was the American base commander. So this has gone to the tippy top here. So one guy took the lead and started asking Annie to describe what she saw, and she just told it to them straight. She said, I saw a UFO. And then they had her draw it, and then they asked her for more details, and then they just started trying to control the narrative, and they told her, you do realise what you saw was a weather balloon, right?
Oh, right.
And this is to quote Annie. She said, I just laughed. Because apparently she'd grown up outside Exmouth and her father regularly launched weather balloons. So she knew exactly what a weather balloon looked like. So she said to them, weather balloons don't look like what I saw. And this is a quote. She said, I said to them, I don't give a shit what you say. It wasn't a weather balloon. It was a UFO. I'm not saying what you want me to say. I know I saw a UFO.
Good on you.
So good on you, Annie. Seriously, I love this woman. So that's when Kevin or Alan, and I'm not sure which one, they said to her, shut up.
Oh.
Please shut up before you get us all killed.
God, killed?
That's apparently what they said.
Jeez.
And so obviously something is going on here, and she didn't know what she was walking into. They just hauled her in. The interrogation apparently went on for hours longer, but Annie stuck to her guns and kept repeating, I saw a UFO. It was not a weather balloon. It was not a trick of the light. And the Americans, they just did not know what to do with a civilian witness who refused to crack.
Yeah.
So eventually they just gave up and they sent her home. And then the first thing Annie did was ring her cousin, who had always apparently been sus about what was really going on at that airbase. She told him everything that had happened.
Oh.
So he drove to Exmouth and they both went to visit Alan at his home.
Oh, dear.
Alan told her about the fact that he'd had the photographs of the craft printed at the printing shop inside the base, and that he and Kevin had just been like willy-nilly showing them to all their colleagues. And he said, and the next thing, we're in custody. They searched the photo machine, they took pictures and the negatives and the camera, and Alan told her the photographs clearly showed an intelligently guided craft.
What?
Not physically landed, but hovering just above the ground.
Oh, my Lord.
But he said every single image he took was confiscated along with his camera.
No way.
UFO, OMG, UFO, OMG.
So the upshot here, Geordie, is there is no upshot.
That's it.
That's the end. We don't know what really happened that day. Annie, for decades, has stuck to her story. She says, I know what I saw.
I know what I saw. I don't give a shit what you think you saw or what you're trying to make me think I saw, but I bloody know it.
And it wasn't no bloody weather balloon. You know, the US are trying to tell people, still to this day, it was just a weather balloon. They don't know what they saw.
Gosh. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Now, you've obviously read reports featuring Annie and her words.
Mm-hmm.
What about Kevin and Alan?
No. I haven't seen reports with anything from them.
Do they exist?
Don't know.
Right.
I did not go dark web on this. I did not
shame.
do deep dive investigations. Please.
You just had a quick flick.
I just had a quick flick because I was intrigued because I'd never heard about this UFO story in Australia. Probably because the pictures were confiscated. All you have is a picture of Annie in the last, few years. Not the young Annie, but, the Annie now who knows whose memory is. I mean, look, she knows what she saw. She's drawn this picture. It does just look like a diamond cigar shape kind of.
But we've got no
craft.
Kevin. We've got
We've got no Kevin. We've got no Alan.
Yeah.
No, it's all Annie's word. So that's it. But anyone who does have a deeper subscription to the dark web than I, look it up, get back to me, because the Australians did declassify stuff, and particularly as this was an American naval base, there could have been stuff declassified from this too.
Yeah.
So maybe it does deserve a deeper dig.
Yeah, get the spades out And get digging, please, eavesdroppers, because you know what? You can help us with these things. You'll know things.
Yes. Next, Geordie, because I've got 2 stories for you.
Yeah.
We're going to Brazil, this time, again, in the 90s, to January 1996, when a tiny town called Varginha, I don't know if that's actually how you say it.
Okay.
Varginha in Minas Gerais.
What?
You don't like Varginha. I don't know why I have to say it like that.
Okay.
It just comes out of my mouth as Varginha.
Apologies, Brazilians.
Varginha in Minas Gerais.
Whatever.
Gerais.
Yeah.
They had a bit of a Roswell moment.
Oh.
So it started with 2 sisters, Lilian and Valkyria Silva, who were 16 and 14 at the time.
Oh, only little.
Yes,
young.
along with their 22-year-old friend Katia Andrade. So on January 20th, the 3 of them were cutting across a vacant lot in the Jardim Ander neighborhood when they saw something weird crouching in the weeds.
No, don't. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a stray dog or a homeless person.
Or a rabbit with a dog's body.
No, no. It was something else.
Oh.
But not far, actually, from what you just said, because according to them, this thing was small, maybe 4 foot tall. It was brown with oily skin.
Oh, yuck.
That looked almost wet.
Oh, yuck.
It had a giant misshapen head with 3 distinct lumps and big red eyes and no hair.
3 distinct lumps. Where are the lumps across the head?
I guess on the head.
Well,
Big, like, weird lumps. And
sorry, I don't mean to be judgy, but
well, it did apparently smell
I don't want to see that.
terrible too.
It smelt bad.
Yes, like ammonia mixed with rotting garbage.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
And it looked, in the words of these children, it looked sad.
Oh, no. I feel sad too.
Me too, for this
He
oily
stinks.
skin that looks
He
almost
looks bad.
red. He stinks. He's got lumps on his head.
And he's sad.
And he's sad.
No one wants him.
No one wants this fucking stinky thing. So whatever it was, it seemed quite scared of them also. And being teenagers in this small Brazilian town in the 90s, these kids ran home screaming to their mums that they'd just seen the devil.
Yeah.
And this is where the whole Varginha UFO incident kicked off, because their story did not exist in a vacuum. Because very quickly it turns out that other people in the area had been seeing strange things as well. And not just creatures, but flying craft. So I'm going to rewind to a week before the girls saw that oily thing in the weeds. In the weeds. So a man named Carlos Souza, who was a pilot, he said he saw something strange in the sky over Varginha too. And he said it was cigar-shaped and about the size of a school bus, which is fucking huge.
That's a big one.
And he said it wasn't cruising like a plane. It was belching white smoke and losing altitude like it was in trouble. So, thinking it was an aircraft about to crash, Carlos followed its path to a field. And when he got there, he said the ground was covered with metallic debris and the whole place reeked of sulfur, like rotten eggs.
Oh, what's with the stinky?
I don't know. And then out of nowhere, guess who arrived?
That little guy that's sad.
Military.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Not the sad guy.
the little sad oily guy with the lumps.
It's E.T. It sounds like the premise of a Brazilian E.T. But they never complain about his stench in the film.
No, they don't. Look, he had a little daisy on his head. I'm sure he was probably...
Yeah, smelled much sweeter.
Yeah, smelled lovely. Well, it was the military.
Okay.
The military arrived and said to Carlos, get the fuck out of here. So on the morning of January 20th, just hours before the girls saw the stinky, oily devil, a couple also reported seeing a damaged craft in the sky in the same area that Carlos had seen that weird craft. And by late that morning, emergency services in Varginha were fielding calls from locals in the area who said there was a strange animal darting through the streets of Jardim Ander.
Oh, it's that guy.
I don't
Sad
know.
man.
Could be sad, oily guy.
No.
So a construction worker swore he saw authorities trap the creature in a wooden crate and haul it away.
Oh, no. He's so sad already.
I know, if it's the same one.
Oh.
But then, around 1 p.m., men in military uniforms were reportedly seen combing the neighbourhood with rifles in their hands.
Out.
I know, apparently searching for something.
That's shocking.
Yeah, apparently shots were allegedly fired.
Oh, no.
Then 2 hours later, that's when the Silver Sisters and Katia spotted that oily creature in the weeds. But this is where the story gets a bit sad,
Okay.
even more than the sad little creature, because that evening, a 23-year-old police officer called Marco Eli Cereze allegedly captured one of these creatures.
There's several of them. Oh.
I think there could be more than one. Now, witnesses say that this guy, Marco, grabbed this thing with his bare hands, shoved it into his car, and drove it straight to the hospital.
Oh.
I don't know why the hospital.
Because he's worried about the poor little oily, stinky man.
I don't know. But the staff at the hospital, of course, apparently denied that this ever happened. But rumour has it that the creature, if there really was one, died during the night.
Oh.
And 3 days later, by January 23rd, locals said they'd seen a military convoy leaving Varginha, allegedly carrying bodies of extraterrestrials to the State University of Campinas.
For
testing. Who fucking knows? And autopsies.
Autopsies. Oh, that's terrifying.
So the official line on all this from the Brazilian government is total denial. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
But then something happened that kept the conspiracy alive, because on February the 7th, less than 3 weeks after Officer Marco caught that creature, he checked himself into the hospital with severe pain in his arm and partial paralysis. And when the surgeons operated, they removed an abscess from his armpit, but his condition worsened, and within days he was dead.
Oh, my God.
Dead. And the cause of death was apparently a systemic infection.
Systemic? What does that mean?
Throughout his whole body, throughout his system.
God.
So all the UFO believers, they're like, contamination by the alien bacteria from when he got that creature with his bare hands. But to the government, it was just a tragic case of hospital infection. Nothing mysterious. But since then, the Varginha incident has gone a bit urban legend, with some people saying there had been multiple creatures running around town. They'd seen UFOs streaking across the skies, that the military had taken all of these live aliens into the local hospital where doctors were ordered to examine them under armed guard. And the more the story spread, the more impossible it became, a little bit like your story.
Yeah.
What's fact? What's the original
fiction?
story?
Yeah.
And then in 2021, a Brazilian magazine called Isto, I don't know how you say it, they apparently obtained official army documents outlining the inquiry into this whole thing. And a guy called Lieutenant Colonel Lucio Carlos Pereira, who led the investigation, said flat out that the Silver Sisters and Katia hadn't seen any alien. What they saw, he said, was a homeless man known locally as Mudinho.
Stinker, it means.
Yeah. Now, Mudinho was apparently a mute man in his 30s with some mental health issues and lived near the area. He often crouched when he walked, which could explain the posture the girls saw. So the army's line was, this was not an oily little sad guy. It was just Mudinho,
Oh, dear.
the local dishevelled homeless dude. For all those people who said they saw army trucks around Varginha, well, prosecutor Antonio Antero dos Santos said it was just routine maintenance. Totally normal army vehicles heading to workshops. No aliens on board.
Nothing to see
no
here.
crates. No nothing. Exactly. Apparently there have been some ufologists who have also backed off this because they say, look, there's no real proof. There's just personal eyewitnesses and testimony. There's absolutely no evidence that there were creatures taken to any of these hospitals, and that even this guy who got that systemic infection and the lump under his arms, they say he died from post-surgical complications, which also could be logical.
Could be, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about the cysts And the lumps on that little thing's head.
I know.
And I'm wondering if it is a human that's been experimented on.
Oh my God, I hadn't even thought of that.
I know, that's where my head goes.
Wow, all 3 lumps. Who knows? But I will say, to this day, many Brazilians, they really do believe that something did crash near Varginha in 1996 and that the military covered it up because, as we know on this podcast, governments, when it comes to UFOs, their denials are often louder than the rumours of what really happened. Roswell had a weather balloon. Exmouth had a weather balloon.
There's always a bloody weather balloon.
Varginha, they've got a homeless man and routine maintenance.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, this also makes me a bit skeptical. Varginha, they have fully leaned into this.
Of course they have.
Yep, there's a water tower
like
shaped...
the Bell Witch Cave.
Yep, there's a water tower shaped like a flying saucer. You can buy alien dolls in the tourist store. I mean, they are milking it as Roswell 2.0.
Where there's a bit of folklore, there's a dollar to be made.
And where there's an oily homeless devil in the weeds, there's also some dollars to be made. So I don't know what's fact or fiction, but there we have it.
Well, I guess that's the theme of this week. What's fact and what is fiction? I think that Bridget Cleary's story was definitely fact. That has been recorded.
Yes. And that's
But the
fucking
others?
terrifying. Yeah, the rest, who knows?
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for that tale. I enjoyed listening to stories about UFOs. I do love them, don't you? Have you guys, your listeners, do you have any UFO stories? Who's looked out the window and seen a shooting star or more? Tell us. Write in.
Lights in the sky. We want to know.
Please. And thank you once again to everybody who's been voting. It's the last few weeks. Voting's now closed, I think, by now. So thank you, everybody. We just have to wait and see, I think, in October, whether or not we get anywhere. But probably not, because we're up against a whole bunch of other potties.
Well, we're up against famous people.
Yeah.
How do we compete? How do we compete against famous people who've got the weight of the BBC behind them?
But if you like your podcasts homegrown, homemade, home researched, home cobbled together, then you've come to the right place, haven't you?
You certainly have. And until whenever we next
Until the 12th of never.
The 12th of never.
Wherever you are.
Whatever you do.
Just keep eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping all day long. Eavesdropping, this is the song. Drop it like it's hot.
El rugido de los aficionados, el ritmo de las porras, la intensidad en la cancha. Esto es más que solo un partido de fútbol. Con DraftKings Sportsbook, esta es tu oportunidad de convertir cada jugada en una gran ganancia. Descarga la app de DraftKings Sportsbook y usa el código HEART. Ese es el código HEART para que los nuevos usuarios reciban $200 en bonus bets al instante cuando apuestes solo $5. En asociación con DraftKings, la corona es tuya. ¿Problemas con el juego? Llama al 1-800-GAMBLER. En Nueva York, llama al 877-8-HOPE-NY o envía un mensaje de texto con la palabra HOPE-NY al 467-369. En Connecticut, hay ayuda disponible para problemas con el juego. Llama al 888-789-7777 o visita ccpg.org. Juega responsablemente. En nombre de Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Debe ser mayor de 21 años. La elegibilidad varía según la jurisdicción. No válido en Ontario. Pueden aplicarse cargos en Illinois. Las apuestas de bonos son de un solo uso. La apuesta no se incluye en las ganancias y caducan después de ser otorgadas. La oferta finaliza el 29 de septiembre 2025 a las 11:59 p.m. hora del este. Los términos en DraftKings.com/sportsbook/promos.